really. But to go back even further, when I was a child, I was obsessed with being a stockbroker. So from the age of 8, that's all I ever wanted to do. Be a stockbroker.
Really?
Yeah. Everything I was geared up to do was do so all the school I went to, we didn't do that many GCSEs. It was quite a tight school. You only did the core subjects, but everything, that's all I was going to do. I was going to go to be a stockbroker. I was going to go to uni in London. I was going to do this, that. My whole thing was mapped out from a very, very young age. Then I got to 18 and it became, I still love finance, and I started to do general studies as one of my A levels, and it sort of think, oh, maybe I don't want to be a stockbroker anymore. And again, from a very, very personal level, I was very close to a couple of my tutors and my teachers at school. And one was very, very close to me, and he's still close to very dear friend, very close to me now. He said, listen, if your mother and father are quite old, you're still quite young, do you really want to go to London? It's a long way, because I lived in Manchester. And luckily I listened to him. I went to Liverpool University. Okay. And again, to be very open and honest, I had a hidden agenda. I'm a Liverpool fan, so I was next to the ground, etc. But on a very personal level, it's probably the best.
But you grew up in Manchester and you're a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, no, don't go down that road, Michael. Yeah, that's you can blame my father for that one. He's a Liverpool fan. So yeah, no, good point. Yeah, good point. So when I went to university, my father had a heart attack, so I had to keep coming backwards and forwards. So it's funny how that I always say the universe always. You never know what's going to happen, but the universe always knows what's going to happen and points you in the right direction. You just got to listen sometimes very carefully. So yes, I still went to uni. Luckily, I was only an hour away by train, so I could look after my family and come backwards and forwards. Look, my dad made recovery eventually, but being in London would have been a complete difference. That sort of moved me in a different direction. When I was in Liverpool, I met different people. Decided not to become a stockbroker, but I still wanted to be in finance. No, wanted to be so. I moved down that route of doing marketing and finance together, and I ended up at Royal Bank. I joined to Royal Bank of Scotland. I used to work for their agency, and then they stole me from their agency to do all their tax work and acquisition work, because they knew my background. So that's how I ended up at Royal Bank of Scotland, through a weird and wonderful way of starting off my life at an agency in Liverpool. They got bought by a big agency. That was the agency for a Royal Bank of Scotland group, and then they basically hijacked me, with their permission, of course.
Yeah. Which agency was that? Because I saw in your background you worked at Ogilvy for some time. Is that right? Because that's
Ogilvy. Yeah. I've done Ogilvy, WAB, and TBWA. So the three big boys. So so TBWA was my transfer to Royal Bank of Scotland. They owned the account. So
okay. Cool.
So they bought the account. Then they said, "Oh, I was running a lot of their programs, the high level ones and new ones." Then they literally seconded me out of there, just took me over, and I worked for Royal Bank of Scotland Group for 4 years.
Very nice. Okay, yeah. Ogilvy stuck out to me just because, in the direct response marketing world, he's one of the.
He's the god, he's the guru. Yeah, he's the god of direct, god of copy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, take me back to 8 years old. I mean, most eight-year-old kids, or at least boys, they'll want to be a police officer, an astronaut, a firefighter, something like that. Well, what was it about stocks that you loved at such a young age?
I guess I don't know. Obviously, I'm very, very fortunate. My family was very entrepreneurial. So my father was in business. He owned a lot of factories in the UK when he first came to this country. So I was brought up. My mum was the same. So I've just been brought up in that environment, I think. So I've always been growing up around finance and tax and trusts and money and business and working hard and understanding the whole what's the best way to put it? Obviously the importance of money, but also the importance of using it in the right way. So I have to thank my parents more than anyone there. I was brought up phenomenally well. I was brought up in terms of never really wanted to spend anything, but equally I was brought up in a way to value everything and be taught everything from a very young age. And they worked really hard to make sure I got, doesn't really mean as much anymore, but in those days, have the right education as well. Go to the right school, learn the right things, learn the right way to walk, talk, basically, be an entrepreneur like my dad was, really.
Yeah.
And obviously the 80s as well, Michael. You're too young. You had all the stockbrokers, the Wall Street,
that was the hate.
It's the 80s, man. It's like Miami Vice, and it's like, who didn't want to do that?
Yeah, I guess so. It's a
You
lot
go
of
to
glamour.
any 40s, 50-year-old, you'll have time they'll be telling you about Miami Vice, the Ferraris, the loose suits, no
According
socks. All things that are really trendy now were trendy in the 80s.